All right, we made it to the halfway point. Thank you for hanging in there with us here on The Factor Uncensored. Now, just like you see on medications or dangerous foods, there is now a push for warning labels on social media. Joining us to talk about the hot topic is social media expert Karen Diamond. Karen, the Surgeon General is recommending that apps put a warning label on many of their apps as a result of the mental health crisis that's affecting young people. Do you think this is a good idea to put warning labels on social media apps saying, look, this could harm your mental health? We know how many kids live their lives based on social media and what they see on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And if they find themselves being bullied or they find themselves trying to live a lifestyle they can't afford, it takes a mental toll on them.
Absolutely. I think we've been talking about this for quite some time, and it is an indicator that this is present in our government's mind, that they're putting priority on creating awareness and a warning for kids and also for their parents who may not know how dangerous this could be to their children. We've been talking about this for quite some time. So it's awesome to see that some progress is being made at the Congress level.
And you're exactly right, Karen, because when you think about parents, their Instagram is not your kid's Instagram. Your Instagram for the kids, they have a whole different crew of friends, different mindset, while your mom and your dad may be having fun and a good time comparing baby pics and weekends out. It could get ugly for their child, that same very platform.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Surgeon General is implying, is that kids just don't know how to use it, right, in a healthy way. As far as some experienced social media users, like you said, they could be sharing pictures of their babies. They could be seeking out content that supports their wellness journey, their fitness journey. Like, just because adults are more in alignment with what they're seeking out, a child is just being presented everything that comes their way. So when we don't have those filters embedded into their social media platforms or educate them and give them the knowledge, then our kids are just exposed to things that we weren't exposed to as children.
And one of the important things you said there, filters. Parents still have a role to play in this, even if the government moves forward with restrictions and warning labels. Parents still have a very important role to play. You can't just say, okay, the government stepped in, so I'm going to walk away. You'll be fine.
Right. No, parents have the obligation and the opportunity every day to present their kids with a check-in, right? To do a evaluation of their social media and their child's mental health based on their social media use and consumption. So parents do have as much of a role to play in this as the Surgeon General, as the people behind the social media companies.
And when we think about social media, some parents should consider not allowing their children on it based on their age, would you think?
Absolutely. Or we talked about, if a parent has a child that they want to become a creator or a child influencer, the parent should always be at the helm in those pages. And parents should always be providing their duty of responsibility to their children by monitoring their activity at all times and having access at all times.
Now, how do you think the social media companies will react to this? Obviously, they're always in hot water with the federal government in some way or another. Do you think they would be willing to cooperate with this program of labeling social media? It doesn't appear to be such a tough task, but also the question, could it open them up to liability as well down the road? But first of all, do you think they will be willing to cooperate?
I think so. Social media companies like the giants, Meta and the TikToks of the world, have already started to build awareness for this type of addiction and this type of danger that lies within the platforms that they created. So they have already put in place those parameters and those filters and those guardrails against children. However, this would force them to actually acknowledge I am a dangerous thing, I'm a dangerous platform. And that's where we're stepping into a new territory, because you're right, that does expose them to legal responsibility, and that does expose those social media giants to kind of take their part in the role that we're saying they're playing.
And many social media companies have been successful at dodging class action lawsuits, carrying blame or accepting blame. Many courts have not ruled against them. So it's almost like, if you open that door, what does that mean? What does that tell the courts? What does that tell a jury? That if a child died while being bullied on a social media platform, you knew it was dangerous.
Yeah.
You said as much.
Right. And so in this case, I think social media companies are going to be faced with making a decision on, allowing users of a certain age enter their platforms or signing off on some kind of waiver. There are so many legalities and so many things that I think this would prompt. We're probably also going to revisit what the Florida governor said about enabling an age limit, right? If you sign up for a certain social media platform. So I think this new governance or this new push that we're making towards addressing social media platforms as dangerous is going to be an uprooting of all legal changes in the social media infrastructure.
All right, we'll see what happens. Karen Diamant, always good to see you here on The Factor Uncensored with your social media expertise. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.